Hey everybody, welcome to Designing Adobe XD. What's going on here on this Friday? Are you designing today? What are you up to today? Were you just all doing taking the Adobe Creative Challenge this week? You submitting your designs in Discord? I need to hop on there, by the way. I need to come in and maybe check out some of the great work you're all doing in XD and give some feedback. Because I love doing that. That's just my favorite thing to do, is to come here on a Friday, talk about design, talk about XD, talk about what's going on in XD, talk to all of you, all those familiar avatars. I want to say faces, faces, avatars, whatever. Here in the chat, what's going on? For those who maybe you're joining for the first time, I am Talon Wadsworth. I am the lead designer for Adobe XD. And this is the show where we talk about how we work. We talk about our process when we talk about how we get feedback and how we design new features and kind of what goes into to making something like XD. This is probably my favorite job I think I've ever had. Being able to sort of come and design tools for designers. Something that I use every day. I love XD hopefully just as much as you do, and I just love to talk about it. So what's going on today? How's everybody doing in the chat? See Tim, what's going on, Tim? I got my man Paco with me here today running the show. Ainsley, what's going on? Omar, Parvez, Suyag, Cars, what's going on, everybody? Richard, how you doing? Nina, how are you all today? What's going on? Dude, yeah, this is my other retro baseball cap. It's the Tokyo Giants. This is, I think, the hat from the 40s, I think it was. And of course, I'm here in SF, I love baseball. I've followed baseball for a long time. I'm here in the city by the bay with the Giants. And of course, the Tokyo team is also the Giants. So I've always kind of followed that as well. So I had to have this one. So yeah. What's going on? And of course, the Adobe Live crew giving me the shit, you're kind of chiming in here in the chat. What's going on? Wonder who's behind the Adobe Live handle today. Richard, designing brochures in XD. Interesting. I catch a lot of flack from one of my good colleagues here at Adobe for not having a print function in XD. Is that what you would like to see us do? I don't know. So today, I haven't done it in a while, but one of the things I love to do is I love to design new features live on stream. And that's actually how I got started streaming. Back in the day with Mr. Michael Chase, who used to kind of who was part of the Adobe Live crew. Now moved on to, building products here at Adobe, which is crazy. I miss him. Everybody give him a shout out on Twitter. Tell him you miss him on the Adobe live stream. I'm sure he's listening. And one of the things that I did for one of the very first streams that I ever did with Michael is I came on and I designed a new feature for XD live on stream. And it was just so exciting. I never before had been able to sort of design something in real time and then share it and get feedback immediately. And there's been it was kind of crazy to do that because made me realize how much the work that we've been putting into XD to be able to enable that kind of design, that way to design, just kind of blew my mind a little. And it's always been one of those favorite things I do. And I woke up this morning and I was like, I haven't done that in a while. So I thought today we would actually design a new feature for XD. And that way maybe I can share a little bit of my process, but a little bit how we work here as the Adobe XD team. How do we evaluate, how do we go about designing and implementing new features? And I give you a little taste of what those early concept and prototyping phases really look like. And of course, we're going to do it all in XD. It's very, very Inception-like, pretty crazy. So, make a newspaper in XD. Cars says, "Hey, you could, myself. I love InDesign, so I don't know if I ever would do it in XD because got InDesign, but to each their own, So, Xavier, what's happening from Mexico? What's going on? Darius, how you guys doing? So I need some ideas here. I've been, put the call out on Twitter. I've got some ideas kind of percolating, here about a feature that I should design for XD. What features do you want to see? in XD. What feature should I design? And just to put it out there, I designed dark mode last time, so it's very easy. So I just use the assets panel and I select all the colors and I just flip them to dark. Done. So like we can design dark mode. Now going about implementing dark mode, that's a little different story. But usually what I like to do is I like to do something, really fun, really out there. Again, because the team's working hard on some really amazing features to maybe ship in the upcoming releases. And I like to think about things that are a little further out there. As part of my role on the team, I'm really focused on, less of the day-to-day and more about, what XD will be in a year, maybe 2 or 3 years. And I really like to, or to imagine what XD could be, even sooner than that, but maybe something that we haven't really thought about. And a lot of our work, of course, starts with research, but it also starts with an idea that's really founded in research, and helping designers do great work. And so that's really where a lot of our ideas start, and that's where I usually start all my projects. But I like to, again, like when we're designing, I like to do fun things that maybe we wouldn't do normally. So what do you guys think? What feature should we design today together? That's right. Tim, actually, everybody go check my Twitter feed at Mr. Talon. I actually posted this really amazing plugin the other day where you could actually design your email template and publish your email template from XD using this plugin. And then, I'm just blanking on the name now. You should go check it out. Really cool. Oh, that's right. Tim posting as well. A lot of the ways that we get, feedback and feature requests is on our user voice. It's been something that we've run from the very first time we put out the early alpha of XD, the early alpha builds. We kicked up the user voice, so you should definitely go check it out there. Let's see what we got going on here. Parvez, right-click and replace. It's a good one. One of the things that I like to do, of course, because I'm kind of in my role really pushing the team to stretch and think beyond where we are right now. And I do a lot of storytelling and right-click and replace. I think that's a really good feature, but it's not very, exciting, Like if we were to do it, it'd be like a really, really quick, there's prior art on a feature like that. You select the component, you hit right-click and you replace, and you can either choose from a list or maybe you can drag and drop. That's a good one. We probably could do that, but I don't know. What else do you think? One that came up on Twitter that I really loved, because we've started our journey here into, truly sort of collaborative workflows and cloud-based workflows. One idea I really loved is versioning. It came up online today, and something that we have thought about and designed different versions of, versioning. Yes, that's a thing that happens as we're designing XD. But I had some really crazy ideas, because you could go to Dropbox and you could roll back to different versions, and in a Google Doc you can kind of roll back and see previous versions. But what if you could not just roll back on a version of the XD, like the whole XD file that you're working on, but what if you could just hone in on one artboard and see the history of that one artboard? What would you do with that? How could that be interesting or exciting, or maybe help me work better as a designer? That's pretty cool. Or what if you could even go further down and select a component? I don't know if you've all tried the new component feature. The updates to used to be symbols, now components. Some really amazing stuff going on there. But what if you could take one object and actually see its life cycle? That'd be really cool. That was something I could, I actually almost want to share. If I could play back through that, that'd be a cool thing. I could wrap up and I could just share it, and I could just show how the design came together in the whole document, maybe on the artboard, maybe on the object. That could be pretty cool. I don't know what you think about that. Tim's got a great name, Project Evolution, and as Tim knows from the early days, who was there, I think Tim, I actually think you commented on the first prototype that I shared of designing a feature on Adobe Live. I actually think you have a comment on there. But yeah, so that's every good concept starts with a good name. Project Evolution. There it is, Tim. He's got our name for the day. So what we're going to do today is I actually, with my, actually now no longer intrepid intern, but actually full-time designer, Mr. Sam Anderson, who was streaming here with you all this week. He and I created this really awesome, I actually XD wireframe UI kit. So we actually took some of the ways in which, the tools that we were using to concept new features, and we actually shared it, packaged it up inside this beautiful little UI kit, and we actually shared this. And so, if you all want to go and actually download your own version of this UI kit and actually design along with me, I'd love to see what you come up with as well. Because this is the same file that I use to start all of my concepts and ideas inside of XD. In fact, I was just working on some other ones a little earlier today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with just kind of the baseline kind of UI, of XD. And I'm gonna copy it into a new file. So let's go check that out. Okay, so here we go. Look at that. We've already got the start of our design. Yep. So this is where we're gonna start from. Again, it's a very, we can kind of, it represents XD and we can kind of fill in the blanks, and this really, using a wireframe really helps us to focus in and tell a story, not get distracted by all the details. So let's do that. Let's sort of look at this here and let's start saying, all right, we're gonna project evolution. And I think the really interesting one that I have never seen design myself is, what would it look like if I could select an artboard and kind of dive into the time capsule that is that artboard, to actually go back and actually see, its history, And then what would that be? Again, like the question out there, like what would that, how do you think that would be useful? And one of the things we always like to do is really focus on a use case. Like why would I need to do that inside of a UX design tool? You guys got some answers for me? I don't know, be thinking about that. That's definitely something that, again, that starts kind of with all of our projects, is really a definition of what this is for. What is this gonna help designers do, right? Anytime we're evaluating a feature request, we always try and place it in this larger story or this larger context of, executing on making rich design, interactive design prototypes, doing UX and UI design. We really want to make sure that whatever feature that we're doing, again, really supports that story. So that's kind of the umbrella. But how does versioning, how does being able to sort of traverse the versions of a single artboard, like how does that help a designer do their job? I don't know, I've got some ideas. I'd love to hear what you all think. So what I'm gonna start with is I'm gonna have my UI here. And I'm gonna start with like a core flow, right? I'm like, what are the big story moments of me, interacting with this new feature, project evolution, on an object? Is it accessible? Is it when I select the artboard? Is there like one toggle or one feature to sort of enter into this project evolution mode, kind of outside and kind of in as part of the overall UI of XD? That could be really handy, contextual, so whatever I have selected, I can just very quickly, enter into and see the timeline history of that object. I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts on that. So what I'm gonna start with a couple artboards here. I'm just gonna sort of drag out. So I think we're gonna make this selection based, and I think we're gonna make it pretty discoverable. Again, a lot of the times when we think about, like where a feature lives in the UI and where it exposes itself to a designer, is how often is this going to be used? Is this a global action? Is this a primary action? Is it a secondary action? That really helps us sort of start to place it in the UI, in the workflow inside of XD. We want to make sure all these pieces just sort of fit nicely together, that it all makes sense. And XD, seems very, very focused and very straightforward, but there's a lot of power in that, and it's because the design team, we think a lot about, again, how all those pieces fit together. So, hey Zaryeb, what's up? What's going on, man? Great to see you on. Zaryeb had some great suggestions online as well. We had a little fun earlier, but I hope you forgive me for the little fun we were having. So Tim, yeah, that's a good point. Clients, like presentation. I think that, Tim, what you're sort of speaking to, the value of something like versioning and being able to roll through the history of something, is actually to communicate sort of the evolution of this to a client or to a colleague or to someone that you want to get feedback on. It's a great way to document your process. And a lot of those needs are around presentation, right? That's I want to present this, all right? So let's go in and do this. So we've got our, kind of lightweight, sort of, cool little artboards here. And what I'm going to do is I want to zoom in on one, again, because this is going to be contextual, right? So we want this to all sort of be contextual. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little auto animate action here, which I love to do. And I'm going to go in here and select my artboards, and I'm going to zoom them up so we can come in and focus. Again, we're storytellers, we're communicators. We want to draw our viewer's eye to the thing that we want them to focus on. All right, so we're just going to scale those things up here as it goes. And I'm gonna, we'll leave those there for now. Again, we're just trying to get the point across. We'll figure out the details later. So what I'm gonna do is just very quickly, actually, where are we gonna place this? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by placing it kind of up here. And again, later on, I can go back and replace this with an icon. But what I want to do is just give me a sense of the core mechanics of this feature, right? Tim, that's another great suggestion. You do it a lot for A/B testing, or to undo Howard's Comic Sans font choice. Yeah, Howard could really use this, this feature. Yeah. Yeah, Parvez, yeah. Sam, man, he was our intern 2 summers in a row, and he just did great work. And part of also getting it, with any gig, is like, do you get along? Do you fit in? Do you feel like you have a lot to learn, a lot to grow from? Those people around you and your colleagues, and yeah, Sam did a great job. He really impressed kind of everybody here. And we were so happy when he said that he would come and come and work alongside of us. So here, this little blue button is our evolution. We're gonna say evolve. Actually, we should make this a button to start with. Is what we should do. I'm gonna make this a button. Again, we want to tell this story. We want people to know kind of what's going on, and maybe later on, I'll swap it out to an icon. For right now, maybe let's start with a button, because there's nothing clearer than just like, slapping the label on there. So let's start with that. So I'm gonna put this here. And of course, I need to use the Adobe typeface. Boom. And again, when you're doing these kind of early concepts, I'm looking for telling the big story element beats. I'm not worried about the details. I want to make sure that like the core of the experience is in, and the core of the story and the workflow is and people can understand it, and that's what I'm really concerned about. Later on, I'll worry about all the details and making sure it fits with our design system and all that. So, wow, Suryag just pointed out that this is 50 episodes. Wow, that's a huge milestone. I didn't even know. That's amazing. Thank you all for hanging with me for 50 episodes. So exciting. Man, the real start of this, again, was doing exactly what we're doing today. So I guess it's fitting, actually, sharing a bit of our process, talking about, kind of how we approach the work and the passion that we have for doing this work. That's what it's really all about. So thanks for joining me here on our 50th episode. So I'm gonna stick this evolve button. Maybe we're gonna start up there. Let's see how it feels, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a quick trigger here. When we click here, I want it to zoom. I'm gonna choose auto animate, of course, because I want it to look cool. Let's do that like that. Let's go check this out. So we go boom. Oh, I gotta copy my evolve button over. Forgot that. Do that there. Okay. So then I'm gonna select this artboard here. Copy that. Bam. Of course, I always have to need to work with my assets panel open because I love it. Do that. So we're gonna select this artboard, and then we're going to evolve it. We're going to go into that versioning mode. So let's see, I'm gonna do that inside. Okay, so we're gonna select it. So I'm gonna do that down. Then we're gonna, from here, we're going to auto animate, and we're actually gonna choose a nice little snap. From there, 3, okay. So what happens is I come in, I go into this artboard, I select it, and now I'm gonna evolve it. So what should evolve do, everybody? What should evolve? What should evolve? How should that, what should it do? Should it take us into like a whole mode, really focused on sort of traversing kind of the history? You know, like what should it do? Oh, thanks, Mo. Yeah, thanks. I love this shirt. It's actually kind of falling apart, but I love it. It's one of my favorite shirts, but thanks. Another 50 Parvez? Well, yeah, you never know. You never know. I'm working on some other projects too. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming. So let's see, Parvez, any plans for another XD contest? Like the last, ooh, I'm sure there are. I'm sure Adobe Live, maybe I have some info, but I'm sure they're working on it. Darius, that's a great idea. Evolve sounds, yeah. Hey, that's actually a great idea. I mean, you gotta start somewhere first, right? And then you turn into something else. Yeah, yeah, if other teams and other users think that's really exciting and really valuable, yeah, maybe they do. Actually, you know what this kind of reminds me of? Actually, that we could maybe evolve this to is actually in the mobile apps on the drawing surface, on the Adobe Sketch for the iPad. You do the 3-finger tap, and you can actually roll back through like the timeline like of your drawing. And it's amazing. And I think you can even, if I remember correctly, I think you can now record it. So I think we're gonna take a little inspiration from that, because that's exactly what I thought kind of that the next phase of this would be. All right, so here we go. So when I click on evolve, it's going to take me, I think we're gonna do something really drastic here. What do y'all think? I think we should really, this should be its own dedicated mode, right? All right, so what we're gonna do is I want this to, let's see, fade out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna come in here and actually get rid of that. And I'm going to center this one. And actually what I'm gonna do for this one, I'm actually gonna copy this, because I want that to actually, I want all of this to fade out. I want this to go right here in the center, all right? And then I want the panel to go away and the toolbar, all right? And I think the modes are probably gonna go away too, because again, we're in evolution mode now. So we're gonna take those away and maybe take some of these controls away. And guess what? I think we're gonna go dark. I think we're gonna have to go dark here. So I'm actually just gonna remove those. I'll come back and we'll do some animation there lately, because again, this is gonna feel maybe very cinematic. Yeah, what do you think here, everybody? Here you go, dark mode fans. I'm going for it. All right. So this is going to maybe convert into like we're gonna do like a exit. That'll just turn into like an exit. Got this here. And of course, with everything we need like a timeline here, right? We're talking about versioning. We're talking about time, right? We want to be able to sort of visualize this artboard, you know, over time, right? So let's start with the timeline here. Let's just try it on. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Who knows? So let's just go here and let's actually make a little timeline here. And I want, what color should we? I kind of feeling like a purple here for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, maybe it's even a gradient. Oh, I think it's even better if it's a gradient, right? Because why not? Why not? So darker in the past, lighter up here. Go there. I'm gonna get a little, yeah, subtle gradient. Oh, Zaryab, that's a great idea. Comparison too. Okay, so we should have a comparison. We should have a way to roll back and then see it side by side. So here's what I'm quickly gonna do. So I'm quickly going to make some of these. Okay. So there we go. We're not gonna get too fancy about it because we wanna get the core of this down and we've only got so much time. So then I'm going to you know, there's some way to interact with this, and then we're gonna roll back through time. You know, maybe to like right there, and then we're gonna put a little, maybe like a little marker here on this. Boom, like that. So like, oh, something significant, you know, happened, you know, right here. And I'm gonna use kind of a yellowy color for that. Okay, so there. And then you know, Zaria, I really love your idea. Like, what if there was actually like a compare like button? So what you could do is really easily, with one click, actually bring this forward and actually see it with the most recent version that you're looking at. So we're gonna put this little compare button there, right here. All right, let's go walk through this real quick. Let's wire this up. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna click evolve, and I think we're just gonna do a transition because we didn't really set that up to do a thing, and then I'm gonna click, and then I'm gonna scroll backwards, or actually I'm gonna click on the timeline, and then we'll roll backwards here. We're gonna do auto animate, and we're gonna do, yep, that's fine. Let's undo that. And then we're here, and then I want to then click on compare and move here. And then it's gonna come back forward. It's gonna keep our point so we know where this one is coming from, right? And then what's gonna happen is this one's gonna shift, and that one's gonna go over here so we get the side by side, right? How are we feeling about that? That's pretty cool. I'm gonna do this and do that there, do that, line that like that. It's gonna be really cool. This is gonna be really cool. I'm really excited about this. Okay, boom. There, auto animate, good. All right, let's test this out. Let's see how this goes. Look at this, lightning fast. Design at the speed of thought, everybody. Just had to go do it. I don't know if you all know, that was like our first like tagline that we used in our decks in XD, design at the speed of thought. And here I am, designing at the speed of thought. Let's see how I did. Okay, project evolution, here we go. So I'm gonna zoom in, I'm gonna select that artboard, and then I'm gonna evolve it. I'm gonna go back and see its evolution. All right, we could work on that transition. That could be a lot better, all right? So then I'm gonna roll back on the timeline, okay? Little animate, could be a little slower. Again, we'll tweak all those details later. And we're only worried about the big story moments. Like, does this start to hang together? Start to seem interesting? So I've rolled back in time, and in theory, we didn't change it, but I've rolled back, and I'm seeing the evolution of this artboard here. And then, as Zaryab suggested, I want to compare this to where I was. So when I hit compare, boom, side by side. And then I can take some things that I want, I can change them, maybe I can bring that version back and have it, you know, living as maybe as a state in the future. I don't know, could be cool. That's pretty cool. I don't know, I'm liking where this is headed. You know, Tim's got the A/B testing, sorry, right there. You can see them side by side. I know, again, the one on the left is from the yellow mark in our timeline. The one on the right is our most current. That's pretty cool. What do y'all think about that? Pretty exciting. Yeah, you know, I mean, this is. I get so excited to come and do this and share this with all of you. So, cool. All right. Well, I'll work on that a little bit. And of course, the great part is I can share a URL, and everybody can go and give me feedback. And that's what it's all about, right? It's all, you know, design, prototype, share. Again, that really, I mean, gets back to again the core of what XD is all about. Right, it's just making these, you know, learning and solving these problems in real time, you know, getting that feedback so you can make your design better, and in the end, hopefully deliver a better experience for your users, for your customers, for your clients. That's what it's all about. Well, thank you all for being here with me on the 50th episode of Designing Adobe XD. I was just thinking I needed to check those numbers today. I will not be here with you next week. I will be in Toronto. I'm speaking about prototyping and design at the speed of thought in Toronto at the FITC UX Spotlight. So I will not be here, but I'll probably get one of our amazing designers to come in and host in my stead. And I probably won't see you because we're also going on a summer break. So I'll be taking a little time off. So I probably won't see you until July, all of you. But I'll always be on Twitter. If you want to hit me up, I always love seeing your work, getting your feedback, talking design. Always feel free to hit me up. All right, everybody, have a good one. I'll see ya.